and welcome back to Fat Pack Magic. If my voice sounds a little bit different, that's because it is. I've got a sore throat, but that's not going to stop me from doing some awesome commentary on this awesome matchup we've got coming for you today. Now, on the right, we've got Ryan, who's shown his efficiency and ability to just crush his opponents with squirrels. And on the left, we've got Anthony running a blue-black control build. They're going for the die roll, and it looks like Anthony is going to be on the play for this game. Now, Ryan kind of looking through his hand, not a lot to go on. A lot of black, but no swamp to combat with it. And he's deciding that he's going to shuffle back in for a mulligan, as Anthony decides to do the same, and they're both going to go back to the drawing board and draw maybe a better 7 cards. But I just want to say, Ryan has done an awesome job this event. He has basically run the gauntlet, playing up against mono green, and then a blue-white splash black aggro deck, and now he's going to be playing up against control. So let's see if Anthony, running control, is going to be able to stop Ryan's clean sweep of this tournament. Drawing up again, and it doesn't look like it's a hand that Ryan's going to be able to keep, and he's going to go down to 5. Wow. Now, Anthony has a little bit of mulligan protection. His deck has a lot of card advantages and ways to get through, so he's going to be able to draw out of that little meager 6. But Anthony doesn't have the same ability to do so, but he's not disturbed. He's just going to, you know what? He's going to drop 2 cards and say good. And the question is, what 2 cards? Maybe Nissa? No, he's going to drop, looks like Solemn Simulacrum, and I didn't catch what else, but that doesn't matter because Anthony's going to start off with an island, and Ryan's going to start off with a tropical island into a Utopia Sprawl. Anthony plays out another island as Ryan draws for turn, plays a swamp, and lays down Kior's Follower. Now that Kior's Follower is going to be amazing because he's going to be able to untap that island. Well, it was going to be amazing until Counterspell ruined it, but Anthony follows up the Counterspell with Ashiok, saying he's going to mill the top 3 cards of your library, and they're all mana. Now that could be good and or bad for Ryan, but he draws his land for turn and plays down Vraska, which is going to be able to crunch that Ashiok undisturbed. Going down to 1 on Vraska as Anthony draws and misses a land drop. Now Ryan is going to pump out that Leovold, but Leovold is going to get remanded. Anthony says, "You didn't say please, maybe next turn." Anthony draws, and there's his land drop, passes back. Now, Ryan's got to run out that Leovold again. His opponent knows he has it. Let's see. So he goes for it again. Leovold, but Leovold is going to be ventured back to his hand. Again, Anthony says, "You didn't say please." Vraska pumps up to 5 without sacrificing anything, just getting some loyalty on there. But Venser is going to be able to counteract that by just swinging at her and keeping her off base. And he tags her down to 3 and passes the turn back. Ryan draws for turn, and it's a Pack Rat. And that's a fine card to draw. So Anthony says, "Please, can I play Leovold?" And Anthony says, "Yeah, sure, you said please." Anthony untraps, plays a Polluted Delta, and hits Ryan with the Chainer's Edict, but Ryan says, "Trigger, draw?" Anthony, what? Yes, because Leovold says whenever you or a permanent you control is targeted, and Chainer's Edict does say target player, so Ryan gets a little bit of draw off that edict. Ryan draws for turn, and he's going to lay down Demonic Tutor. And unfortunately, Anthony could counter it, but the question is, do you counter the tutor or do you counter what he's getting with the tutor? Ryan plays a Arbor Elf and a Pack Rat, immediately sending warning signs to Anthony Ryan's got a couple cards in hand, and that pack rat can get really big, really fast. But Anthony says in response to the pack rat, he's gonna fetch out with Polluted Delta. And not countered back to hand, just countered in general. With Cryptic Command, allowing him to draw off Cryptic and draw off return, and Anthony draws a Torrential Gear Hulk and swings at Vraska, bringing her down to 3. But Ryan he needs to get through here. So he taps 3, plays Nissa for 1. And Anthony can't let anything through at this point. And he's deciding, is Nissa big enough of a threat? Because 2 Planeswalkers is going to be tough. And he says, yes, I'm going to Torrential Gear Hulk, Cryptic Command, counter draw. And Ryan is looking at his hand. He's got the combo. He's got the Earthcraft. He's got the Squirrel Nest. So he taps, plays out the Earthcraft. Alright, that's 1 point. And the Arbor Elf is going to untap the Tropical Island. But that's not going to be enough to cast the Squirrel Nest. He needs another mana. Except he's going to play the Elves of Deep Shadow. Well, you can't untap a non-basic land with Earthcraft. But they just go through with it. And Anthony sacrifices the Arbor, or the Elves of Deep Shadow, to draw a card off Vraska. And Anthony's trying to figure out, can he get through and kill Ryan before the squirrels overwhelm him? He's got 1 turn. And he's going to Mesmeric Fiend for information, and Ryan reveals a Corso of Crufix and says, you know, on my turn, I'm going to just make a bunch of squirrels. And that is game 1. Now, I should mention here that Ryan shouldn't have been able to untap that Tropical Island with Earthcraft tapping the Elves of Deep Shadow. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. He was going to be able to get through anyways. And we go on to game 2. Now, Ryan deciding what he's going to side in, and it looked kind of like a land. Looked kind of like a really good land. It looked like Library of Alexandria, but I'm not too sure. This is going to be the last week, by the way, that we're only doing top-down footage. Next week, we're going to be having the ability to look at players' hands and have an up-close, direct footage of the game state from the player's POV. So check back next time, and we're gonna have some awesome camera footage coming up. So every time I do these videos, I get a little bit better. And I guess Ryan's bored of shuffling his cube deck, because he's shuffling up his modern deck, and he's looking at a sample hand. I guess he runs Tron in modern, which is definitely fine. I like Tron, and I actually like the fact that he has Black Border Tron lands. Good on you, Ryan. So Anthony is shuffling up. He's decided to side in a couple cards. Fortunately, it was kind of hard to see, but he's just getting his deck ready to go as Ryan compulsively shuffles his modern deck and draws out another hand. And he's gonna shuffle up his cube deck too. He's nice. He's gonna do that for me. I appreciate it. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you for shuffling the cube deck. Now, I think one of Anthony's main points is going to be, he saw the combo, he knows what to look for now, counter-wise. So, maybe Ryan won't be able to get there, but wow, man. Ryan says, I'm keeping. Anthony says, I'm okay with this. He's got a good hand. And Anthony's going to start off with the Sheldock Isle, looking at the top 4, and he sees Torrential Gear Hulk, but Torrential Gear Hulk is nothing compared to a Library of Alexandria on turn 1 from Ryan. The first time we've seen it this entire tournament. But Anthony's going to try and stymie the library with the Mesmeric Fiend, but Ryan's going to draw in response. Now there's 2 cards that he's looking at. Pernicious Steed isn't too amazing, but Lotus Cobra and the Nissa are pretty strong. Lotus Cobra is going to be able to get him some immediate ramp going, because Ryan has a fetch land over there as well. So Mesmeric Fiend deciding on what to snag, and looks like it's going to be the Lotus Cobra, leaving Ryan with a Nissa, but Ryan draws out another land. Oh wait, he's deciding, you know what, I'm not going to play the island, I'm going to play the Misty Rainforest instead. As Anthony draws for turn, and he's going to swing at Ryan, dropping Ryan down to 19, plays the Swamp for turn, and there's Ashiok again on turn 3, able to mill the top 3, and from the mill comes the Squirrel Nest, Ryan's ultimate ace in the hole against any deck. And Ryan draws, and it's a forest. And that Library of Alexandria is digging through his deck, but Ryan definitely needs some action here. So Ryan gets a tropical island with the rainforest, draws for turn, and Cure's Follower is fine. It's going to be able to do some work against that, being able to untap his Library of Alexandria and draw with that ability on the stack. Anthony untaps, and he's going to get another turn with that Ashiok. So he plays land for turn, and instead he's going to cast the Arbor Elf off the Ashiok, maybe giving Ryan a breath of relief, but at the same time, Ashiok did its main job, and that's killing off Ryan's ability to go one turn win with the Squirrel Nest. But he follows it up with Karn, and 2 walkers is definitely better than 1, as Ryan draws an Earthcraft and another land, just flooding out, unfortunately. And those 2 planeswalkers are really, really strong, and Ryan has little in the way to be able to respond to them. So Ryan plays out Pernicious Steed, maybe hoping to get his Lotus Cobra back, but it's still going to be a 2 for 2. Anthony draws for turn, and there's Cryptic Command, but he definitely doesn't have enough blue to use it. But underneath that Shelldock Isle is a Torrential Gearhulk, and Ashiok has the ability to just keep milling, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Top 3, Solemn Simulacrum, Corsair Crewfix, and Packrat. A good majority of Ryan's outs. Packrat would have been amazing with that Library of Alexandria, just being able to build up a huge team and maybe get through to Anthony. But Anthony, in a commanding position here, starts off with an Innocent Blood, and Ryan is going to respond to that by untapping and tapping a land. Anthony moves over to sacrificing a creature off of it, and Ryan says, you know, I'm just going to Pernicious Steed, and it's going to destroy everything with converted mana cost 2 or less. Well, artifact, creature, and enchantment. Unfortunately, it's not going to be able to hit the Planeswalkers because they weren't printed at the time that Pernicious Steed was. Anthony double-checking Pernicious Steed, and why? Because Anthony has an engineered explosives in hand. And Ryan has a full grip of lands, and unfortunately, just that Library of Alexandria not able to get through. He's drawing a ton of cards, but they're all mana. But Ryan's got a pretty juicy mana crypt in there, so he can definitely ramp out something pretty big. So he's got, 5, 6, 7. And he's going to start off by playing a Nissa for 2. And he's going to pump up to 4 to look at the top 2. And there's Sword of Body and Mind and Dark Ritual. Now, the unfortunate thing is, if he keeps them on top, Anthony is gonna take that as a signal that, Ryan wants that card and will just Ashiok it away. But at the same time, Anthony has to face down with Karn's card advantage. Oh, wow. Anthony looking in his hand. He's only at 6 cards, so he's not going to be able to use that Library of Alexandria. But he's going to drop down a Lotus Cobra to try and protect his Nissa and maybe get some mana advantage on the following turn. Anthony looking at his hand. That Shelldock Isle has to be pretty close to active at this point. Although he doesn't really have much regarding... Wow! Man, between a rock and a hard place is where Ryan is caught, saying, well, I guess I'll give you the Wormcoil engine because you can't cast it yet, and it's going to make you tap out to do so. Now, Anthony is going to play an Engineered Explosives for 2, crack it for 2, and Ryan's like, oh, okay, Lotus Cobra. But it's also going to hit Nissa. And Ryan's like, yeah, I can't win against this. Not even a turn 1 Library of Alexandria was able to get through against Anthony. And Anthony's Ashiok was the clear MVP there, being able to just mill through some of Ryan's best cards. And Ryan is going to be putting in a Vraska's Contempt, and it looks like he took out a Solemn Simulacrum. Again, next week we'll be able to have better coverage as to what they're sideboarding, because I'll be able to see directly as to what's going on with their hands. But Vraska's Contempt seems to be a very, very strong card to put in here against Anthony's Planeswalker Surprise deck. And Anthony is siding in and out 3 cards. And it looks like he's putting in a Bloodstained Mire and something else. So he might be splashing a bit of red? So they're shuffling up, and Ryan is... He definitely does not want to see that Ashiok, but if he sees it, he definitely wants to have the Vraskas in hand to be able to take care of it. Ashiok just being able to nuke his game plan from the get-go as Ryan draws out his opener and looks like a fairly strong start. Ryan plays a forest. Anthony plays an island, passes. Ryan plays a nurturing peatland. And Mana Crypt tapped. 4. Here's Vraska Golgari Queen on turn 2. Wow, not the most amazing play, but man, Anthony doesn't have a better play than that on his turn 2, I can tell you that. But he plays a Mana Confluence, says pass the turn. I wish my turn 2 was that good. But Ryan is going to start having to contend with that Mana Vault. And Mana Vault deals damage, 3, bringing Ryan down to 16. Anthony suddenly getting a little jolt of excitement. Maybe the Mana Vault can be his win condition. But he's got to be able to live through Ryan's onslaught first. As Ryan plays down a Simic Signet with his Mana Crypt, Mana Crypt, and plays a Nissa for 1 in Scry 2. And on the top is a Hydroid Crassus and an Arbor Elf. And he's going to keep the Hydroid Crassus on top. And he's going to +2 Vraska to 8. Wow. Man, that Vraska Ultimate is near. And Anthony has to figure a way around it. But all of his early plays are just nuked by Vraska. So he's going to take 1 off the Mana Confluence. And deciding on what to play. And he's going to go with the Glint Sieve Siphoner. As Ryan takes another 3 points of damage, bringing him down to 12. And draws for turn. But it's a Hydroid Crassus. And Crassus is pretty good. Nissa scrying the top 2. And wow. I mean, a land, and it looks like a dark ritual on top. Now, Ryan is going to be able to crack out a pretty fat Crassus here. Well, he'll be a good boy. He's going to do, looks like Crassus for 2, which will draw him a card and net him a precious life. But ultimately, he's going to be able to ultimate Vraska and be able to kill him with just the Crassus at 19 because of the Vraska ultimate. Whether discussing the mana cost of the Crassus, and it's going to be a 2/2 Crassus, gain him 1 life, draw him a card, but it's going to be that land drop he desperately needs, and the Vraska is going to go up, looks like to 10. Yes, the Vraska is going to go up to 10. He's being a little bit greedy because after the Vraska ultimate, any creature he plays is going to be able to kill it. So he starts off Anthony's upkeep with an Abrupt Decay, killing off the Glint Sieve Siphoner, and Anthony deciding how he wants to start his turn. Still deciding on whether or not he wants to acknowledge the Abrupt Decay. Says, yeah, it's dead. Okay, fine. The question is, am I dead? And Anthony plays out an island. Wait, maybe? No, he's gonna play out a swamp, tap 2, and Chainer's Edict to kill the Crassus. He's gonna tap 2 more, and he's gonna play a Bitter Blossom. Now, Anthony might be able to ultimate Vraska, but Anthony will be able to infinite chump blockers. Wait, I got that wrong. Ryan might be able to ultimate Vraska, but Anthony will be able to make infinite chump blockers to block those Vraska attackers. And Anthony just has to survive 3 turns and hope that Ryan gets mana crypted 3 times. But Ryan's looking pretty fine here. And it looks like he's going to go for the ultimate with Vraska, taking her down to 1. And that emblem pops out. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. Anthony says, alright. But Ryan's going to play out a Sword of Body and Mind. And he's holding up 2 pieces of removal. Now Anthony drops down a point, makes a Bitter Blossom token. He's going down to 17. And untap, upkeep, draw for turn. He needs to have an out against this Vraska. But he plays his land for turn. And he takes 1 point, goes down to 16. What is he going to play? It's a Bribery. Now he's going to be able to search through Ryan's deck and find some answer, maybe, possibly. Ryan's got a lot of good stuff in there. What can he find? Maybe Shriekmaw isn't going to do it. Solemn Simulacrum might be okay. But unfortunately, nothing that good is in Ryan's deck that's going to solve Anthony's problem here. An ultimate Vraska, but Ryan shows Anthony, next turn I can ultimate Nissa and make 2 flying elementals. I also have Cast Down and Vraska's Contempt. I think you're dead. Anthony says, I think I'm dead too. And that is the match. Ryan running the gauntlet, sweeping the tournament, doing an amazing job. And what a match. He didn't even have to squirrels that game. But that's it for us this time. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this stuff, definitely check us out. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Check us out on Instagram. And if you feel like kicking me a few bucks on Patreon, you can do that too. So until next time, may all your packs be fat.